whether Western values are compatible with Sharia law, not from what I've seen. So there's obviously going to be elements which do, but the vast majority of it just doesn't.
It just doesn't mesh well.
It's impossible to assimilate values which are completely counter to Western values.
So you were just telling me just a second ago about kind of the we were talking about the influx of Islamization, basically, of the West, and kind of we went over how it's kind of incompatible. These values are a little incompatible. And anyways, so the UK's general election. Give me a quick rundown of kind of the each party's stance on it, or the two major players in that.
Well, Jeremy Corbyn from who's a far left candidate from the Labour Party, he's very pro-immigration, very pro-Islam. Theresa May from the Conservative Party, not conservative in the sense that you guys have conservative parties, just because she's more centre-left, but she's relatively more tougher on immigration, but not sufficiently enough, in my opinion.
So I assume you're pro-Brexit, it sounds like?
I didn't actually vote, so I couldn't voice a strong opinion, but the hysteria, what I can say is the hysteria behind Brexit was completely unjustified. It was almost like it was the end of the world when we left the European Union.
Sounds similar to a certain vote we had here in the US recently.
In reality, they are making a mountain out of a very small molehill.
Yeah, so you don't believe that Brexit is going to lead to the economic crash of Britain and the West?
Not even a little bit, no.
Okay, and so I understand that Britain recently has unfortunately gone through a few different attacks, much like France and Germany. It seems like in a lot of ways Brexit could benefit that. It could stop that, but it seems like a lot of leaders, just like here in the U.S., don't want anything to do with it. They don't want anything to do with a solution. What type of solution would you advocate, if any, to prevent these things?
Well, there are around 23,000 people on the terrorist watch list in the UK. 23,000 on the watch list. The police cannot possibly track that number of people. So my opinion would be, if you're on the terrorist watch list, if you've got a history of being involved in terrorism, if you have a history of downloading extremist material, you either are imprisoned or you are sent back to the country you came from. It's just not worth the risk to keep 23,000 people on the streets when they can kill literally hundreds of children.
Exactly, and it's children. They are intentionally going after children, like they did with that concert.
Them, but to maim them. The
bomb
in Manchester was...
it was nail bombs, correct?
I mean, that's intended to maim, not to kill, which is arguably even worse. So.
And how would you feel about a Trump-style travel ban? You know, extreme vetting and screening people from certain war-torn countries that are prone to violent extremism, things like that.
There's literally no downside.
Okay, I agree. That's I don't understand what the whole hysteria it is.
I really don't understand it. I've been here for a day and I've been here probably about an hour now, and I've heard some bizarre things from the protesters. The irony is just astounding.
It's incredible, because you start to realize that they're not actually protesting anything in particular.
No,
they're just being contrarians, and you see the same thing with Trump, Brexit, Marine Le Pen in France.
It's a fake moral outrage.
They're LARPing.
Yeah,
it's just live action role play. That's all that it is.
Yeah, they can go back to their friends now and they can say, "I punched a fascist. I punched."
Yeah, and the thing is, they're the bourgeois.
Yeah.
They're the bourgeois that would be killed in the.
Literally the first thing. Okay, so they are pro LGBT rights, and yet if this was a Islamic country, they would be thrown off a building.
Exactly.
So how do they not see that?
They're for women's rights, but Sharia law advocates female genital mutilation.
And a woman's voice is worth half of a man's?
Yeah, exactly. It's not the most consistent position. And the thing is, I try to go around and talk to them just as much as I do on the opposite side over here, but every time I do, they try to block my camera, or they shout or scream.
The irony alarm is just so loud.
Yeah. Anyways, I really appreciate your unique perspective. Thanks for talking to us today.
It's no problem at all. Thank you.
Absolutely.